Hello and welcome to a Genteel Black Hole, the home of my bookish rambles. My name's Ali, but, well, what's in a name? A booktuber by any other name would smell as sweet. This is the BookTuber Name Tag 2026 edition. It was created by Aaron from Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book. Take your pick which of those pronunciations you prefer. And he's been doing this for a couple of years now. All the prompts are inspired by the channel names of booktubers. And I particularly wanted to take part in this one because my channel is one of the prompts. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Actually, tell a lie, slight further ado, I will include a link to Aaron's original video in the description, so I would encourage you to check that out, and via that you can check out all of the channels that he tagged. I won't tag them in the description of this video, just so I'm not flooding everyone's notifications. But yeah, I strongly encourage you to check out all of the channels that he tagged, which, you know, you've already got a head start because yeah, this is one of them. The first prompt is Violette's book Daze. That's D-A-Z-E. And the prompt is a book that left you in a daze, or a book that takes place over only a few days. So the first thing that sprung to mind for me for a book that takes place only over a few days is actually a play, The Tempest by William Shakespeare. This is one of Shakespeare's last plays, and it's one of the only ones that observes the classical unities. So it takes place in real time on stage and takes place within one location. I think Shakespeare was kind of criticized by some of his peers for writing plays that jumped all around the place in terms of time and location. So The Tempest was kind of his way of saying, screw you, I can write a play that observes the classical unities, I just usually choose not to. So yeah, in fact, The Tempest takes place over only a couple of hours, or however long it takes you to perform the play. And of course, if you see a really good production of it, it might also leave you in a daze. The second prompt is sailing through books, and the question is a book with a boat or sailing in it. And for that, I'm going to pick The Tempest. No, I'm not. I'm going to pick The Wind in the Willows. This is a childhood favourite of mine, or rather the stop-motion animated adaptation by Cosgrove Hall was a childhood favourite of mine, and then I read the actual book in my 20s, I think, and I've revisited it many times, and it always brings me joy. And yeah, my first thought when I think of books with boats is The Wind in the Willows, because of Ratty and his little rowing boat and his little ditty about messing about in boats. Channel number 3 is The Reading Hour. That's Molly's channel, and she hasn't been active for a while, so if you're watching this, Molly, I hope you're doing okay, and yeah, I hope you'll join us again. Absolutely no pressure, of course, but yeah, I'd be delighted to see you back on YouTube. But Molly also took part in my poetry party video, which I'll include a link to. And in fact, a couple of other channels that Aaron tagged are also in that video, so I'll mention those as we get to them. But yeah, I really like Molly's channel, so definitely check that out. Anyway, the question for the reading hour is a short, fast read you could finish in one sitting. And I don't tend to finish books in one sitting, at least not anymore. But I do remember when I was in my late teens or early 20s, and I was stuck at my aunt and uncle's house in Scotland with very poor internet access on a very rickety steam-powered computer. So I had fewer distractions than usual, and I had a copy of Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut with me, and I did in fact finish it in one sitting. It was quite a long sitting, probably 3 or 4 hours, but there are films that long and you watch them in one sitting, so I think it counts. It is a book that you can finish in one sitting, because I have done. The next channel is Books Do Things to Me. This is Angelina's channel, which is quite new to me. I only discovered it through Aaron's tag. Apologies, by the way, to anyone whose channel I haven't had the chance to check out yet. It's been a rough and stressful couple of weeks, so I haven't had as much time as I would like. But yes, I have been introduced now to Angelina, and yeah, I definitely recommend her channel. And the question for Books Do Things to Me is a book that hit you hard emotionally, brackets, any emotion. So I think the book that I remember being the most emotionally devastating, certainly in recent years, was Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I haven't seen the film version yet, and I'm not really sure I want to. It's a fantastic book. If you're not familiar with it, it's about Anne Hathaway and William Shakespeare and the loss of their son Hamnet. So I read that, I think the year or maybe the year after I lost my mum. So I was particularly susceptible to the theme of grief in literature when I read it. And it definitely stirred up a lot of those feelings for me. It gave me something of a book hangover. I was so emotionally drained by it that it took me a couple of days to really feel like reading anything again. So I don't know quite whether I would recommend it. Certainly not if you're in the first throes of grief anyway. It might be a bit much, but yeah, it did something to me. The next channel is A Genteel Black Hole. Hello, that's the channel you're currently watching. And Aaron's prompt for my channel is a book that pulled you into a subject or your favourite Terry Pratchett book. The reason for the Terry Pratchett prompt is because the name A Genteel Black Hole comes from a quote from Guards Guards. But I'm going to look at books that pulled me into a subject. I think I've probably spoken enough on this channel about Terry Pratchett that firstly, you'll be able to find plenty of Pratchett recommendations from me already, and also I'm not sure if I could pick my favourite Terry Pratchett book. I love many of them very, very much. So yeah, a book that pulled me into a subject. I'm going to say Entangled Life by Merlin Sheldrake. This is a non-fiction book all about fungi, and I found it absolutely fascinating. I picked it up because a couple of years previously I had read Underland by Robert Macfarlane, and that had a chapter about mycorrhizal networks and the Wood Wide Web, as it's known. And he interviewed Merlin Sheldrake in that chapter. So I was already kind of already somewhat fascinated by the subject, and when I read Entangled Life, I had no idea how fascinating how fascinating fungi could be. Yeah, I still I look at fungi and lichen, etc., in a different light now. It definitely enlightened me, and it taught me something about a side of the world I had hitherto ignored. So yeah, if you're interested in mushrooms and you don't know where to start, then I would definitely recommend Entangled Life. The next channel is RiffRaff's Reading Renaissance, and the prompt is a book with a character from the lower social classes, or a book set during the Renaissance. Well, as a huge fan of Shakespeare, I suppose I could pick a Shakespeare play because Shakespeare was writing during the Renaissance. But I've already picked a Shakespeare play earlier on, so instead I'm going to try and pick a book with a character from the lower social classes, and for that I'm going to say Brighton Rock by Graham Greene. This is a crime thriller from the 1930s, and it concerns a criminal gang based in Brighton, led by a ruthless teenage hoodlum called Pinky. If you've seen the film version, Pinky was played by a young Richard Attenborough many years before all of that business with the dinosaurs. Anyway, Brighton Rock is a fantastic book. I could possibly have picked this also for books do things to me, because this was another emotionally devastating read. The film adaptation, which I think was scripted by Graham Greene himself, the ending kind of pulls the punch a little bit, whereas in the book it really kicked me squarely in the heart. It's it's a gut-twistingly awful ending, in a good way. And yeah, a criminal gang, certainly from the lower social classes. I think that fits the prompt. Next up, it's Sterling Reads. And the prompt for Sterling Reads is a book with silver on the cover or a shiny cover. Thinking of books with silver on the cover, I'm going to say The Lone Ranger. Next up, it's Big Hard Books and Classics. This is Alan's channel, and you can see Alan also on my Poetry Party video. So, again, I'd recommend checking out his channel and also checking out that Poetry Party video if you haven't already. Anyway, the prompt for Big Hard Books and Classics is your favourite hardback you own or your favourite classic. Bonus points for a hardback classic. So, thinking of my favourite classics, I'm gonna have to lean on Shakespeare again here. What is more classic than Shakespeare, really? And so the question remains, what's my favourite Shakespeare play? And I, part of me wants to be just incredibly cliched and say Hamlet. Yeah, my favorite Shakespeare play is the one that's generally considered to be the greatest work of writing in the English language ever written. That was a great sentence. Well done, me. But yeah, I might also be tempted to say Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night is, I think, one of Shakespeare's queerest plays, which appeals to me. I think it's also, although it's a comedy, it has a strong streak of melancholy, which again, I really like that blend of humour and sadness. And I think Twelfth Night is the play that I have seen performed the most times, not only on stage but also factoring in like filmed performances and stuff that I've seen on DVD. But I think even without taking screen adaptations into mind, I think Twelfth Night is still the play that I've seen the most. So, yeah, let's say Twelfth Night. And next, it's The Book Thing. This is Mark's channel. Mark is also on the Poetry Party video. So, yeah, Mark's one of my favourite BookTube channels. So, I highly recommend you check him out. And the prompt for this one, Aaron said he had trouble finding something for such a vaguely worded channel name, but he settled on a book with the blank blank title. So I had to kind of browse my shelves a bit to find one. Also, where I'm sitting, I can see my my film collection, and I can see a film called The Awful Truth staring at me from the shelf, which I also really recommend. That's a really funny screwball comedy with Cary Grant and Irene Dunne. But yeah, a book with the blank blank title. I'm gonna say a book that I read quite recently, actually reread recently. The Other Wind by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is the final part of her Earthsea series, the 6th book in the series, and it's a beautiful ending to the series. I've spoken about it quite recently on the channel, so I won't go into details here, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of Ursula K. Le Guin, and The Other Wind is a fantastic book. So yeah, The Other Wind. There's also a bonus prompt here, a book that matches your own channel name or a channel you love. Well, my own channel name I've already covered because Aaron already tagged me, so I'm going to pick another channel that I love, and that is Books I'm Not Reading. That's Kelly's channel. Now, the phrase books I'm not reading, I think Kelly means that in the sense of books she wants to be reading, but for whatever reason isn't. But I'm going to take it in a slightly different direction and pick a book that, when I look at it, I think to myself, I'm not reading that. So, The Art of the Deal. Just to clarify, that's not a book that I in any way associate with Kelly or her channel. It's literally just the phrase, books I'm not reading, and yeah, I'm not reading that. So that's about it from me today. Thank you again to Aaron for creating this tag and for including my channel in it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you have any answers to any of these prompts, or whatever else is on your mind, or If you can't think of anything to say, maybe just leave an emoji in the comments, and I'll reply with another related emoji or whatever. Anyway, I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will see you when I see you.